everyone. Welcome to the Keep Up podcast. So you do not fall behind in the AI race right now. And then go ahead and put in I don't know if Tom already mentioned this, where you're from in the chat so we can see where everyone is located. And welcome everyone. We are in Boulder, Colorado, which is absolutely beautiful today. We got the sun out and it's looking really great. So how are you doing today, Tom?
Not too bad.
Good.
I was nervous, freaking out when we realized we are at the wrong stream link. So anyway, and it's a very beautiful day, and so keep up. We've been using running as a metaphor. So on a beautiful day like this, it's kind of hard to sit here in the chair to do this podcast. We should be out running, right, Larissa?
I couldn't agree more. Just go outside and get some exercise. So right after this, if you're able, go out and enjoy the weather. Hopefully you guys have nice weather where everyone is located. So hello, Pamuda, Jagon, hi, Bobby. So we'll go ahead and kick off. So Tom, do you want to talk about what we're going to discuss today?
So we're going to talk about sound, but before we do that, for people who are joining today for the first time, Larissa, why do we even do this? What's so special about this podcast?
Yeah, so the reason why we do this podcast is because obviously generative AI is taken off by storm, and the course that I've been teaching the last semester and then last year as well, we've been able to have this time to experiment with all these different tools and try out new and fun and ethical ways to be using these generative AI tools, whether it's within industry, education, or accessibility, and talk about the also ethical implications in using these, especially when it comes to the creative side of things. And so we're discussing these specific tools because I give these tools to my students to try in class, and we see what works and what doesn't. So we're doing a lot of user testing and seeing what they suggest, what they like, what they don't like, how it can be improved. And so to be able to educate everyone on their overall thought processes and what I think about things as well, hopefully can help you in the future and give you some suggestions, whether it's in your workflow or just for more creative, fun hobbies and things like that you want to be using these tools for.
So what is the first tool you we should talk about today, Larissa?
Yeah, so the first tool we're going to talk about is Soundful. I don't know if anyone has heard of that before, but Soundful is a really great tool. I recommend this for, I would say, beginners that are just starting to work in creating music. And this is a really nice tool because you can use it for free, obviously, with all these different tools. You have different licenses that you can get, and you can get more songs and more credits and use it for commercial use. Under the free account, you can just try it and see what you like. And this was actually recommended to me by one of my students last year. And he is a musician, and he recommended me using Soundful. So then we had the class try it out, and it's been a really excellent tool. And from there, like, basically, you can use this for background music, for videos, for streaming, for really for podcasts. We can use it as well. And then also the nice thing with it, there's different genres that you can choose from. And so when you go into the website, it's just soundful.com, and then you can choose if you want hip hop, or you want rock, or you want Latin. It also has a chance for you to choose the different keys that you would like as well. You have major and minor. You can change the beats per minute. You can change the speed, so how fast or how slow you want the song to be. And then you can also download the song. And like I said, you can use this for any videos that you're creating, YouTube, movies, like I said, jingles for a podcast, for commercials, anything that you would like. And the nice thing is the user interface is really easy to follow along with, and it has different collections that you can search through as well. You can look for social media. So if you want something for social media, you can also get into songwriting, and it will show you different songwriting songs. You can also create your own lyrics in here as well. And then there's also global tracks that you can choose from. They also have staff picks that you can pick, and then the new releases, which is really nice. And so you can check out all these new releases, and then you can go through and you can edit them. And then you also have all of the tracks at your fingertips that you can go through. And like I said, you can download these. You can have different collaborations, which is really neat. So you're able to collaborate with different songwriters, which is really fun that this offers. And so the students find this to be really, really easy to use. And I would say very simple for the most part when it comes to generative AI music generation.
So what is it like to be in your classroom? I wonder that it could be challenging to teach this tool if some student might have a different musical background or their music habit. What is this like to be in your classroom when you talk about this tool?
Well, I think for the most part, for students that don't have a music background, which is why this tool has been created. And so it's for everyone to be a musician and not someone who has, a classical background in music or someone who's studied music their entire lives. This is for everyone to be a musician. And I tell my students that too, is you could start making songs, and once you've created these songs, they're yours. And when you have the pro version, you're able to download those songs for commercial use, and then you can publish them, and you can literally make money off of this type of music that you're generating. And so
it's interesting to hear about the money making opportunity. But I also remember that when my friend used to want to be a musician, but then his parent told him you might not be able to even pay rent if you want to become a musician. Is this making that situation worse or better? What do you think when you say making money? How do you make money? So as a musician or as someone trying to take musicians' jobs away?
That's a really great question. I mean, obviously, with every type of art, everyone is competitive and trying to make it. And so, especially now that we have these different types of tools, it is adding more competition, I think. And then also, artists that have been around for a while are probably they may not be the happiest, but they also may be excited about this too, because they can use different variations. They can see what others are creating, and they can collaborate with others. So having another outlet to work and hopefully improve their songs and their music will hopefully help them and have another platform for them to basically use their music and have others hear their music that they're creating. So it's another platform that they can literally advertise and show the music that they've created. So even more.
So, Larissa, you promised to share some music. Can we get to hear some?
Sure. So there's a couple songs, and I'll go ahead and play one. And this is called Moonlit Island.
So does it use Soundful, or is it a tool that we're talking about right now for this example?
Yeah.
Or-
So yes, that is Soundful, and then I have two other ones, but this is strictly instrumental. Like I said, you can have lyrics, but this is instrumental. So the next tool, and that was done by one of my students this past semester. And then the next tool is Suno, which is probably the most famous music generator right now out there. I'm sure some of you have heard of Suno before. A lot of people that are creating videos right now. I just got done judging video competition, Tom, that you helped me with. And in these different videos that these people created, a lot of them use Suno for their soundtracks and things like that. So it's really interesting. And with Suno, it's nice because there's a lot more customization that you can have. It can generate lyrics for you. You can create your own lyrics. It gives you different variations, different genres. And then the students seem to really love Suno quite a bit. And it's something that, like I said, has been very user-friendly. You can download it. Once again, you have to have different licenses if you're going to use it for commercial use. But for the most part, like I said, they can type in a script. So let's say, for instance, they want an advertisement for a commercial, but they want something that is customizable. So they can even go into ChatGPT or any other program. They can ask for ChatGPT to create lyrics for them based on what they want. And then they can bring that into Suno. Suno can do the exact same thing as well. You can actually do it in the interface. And so it can have the lyrics. You can choose whether you want different languages. You can also have women's voices, men's voices, all types of different types of instruments. And so that one is fun, and I can play one for you as
So
well.
what is the creative process like? I am really new to this. That's the whole point of this podcast is that I don't know anything about it. I spend too much time reading about the mathematics of deep learning, and
Sure.
and
Yeah.
so is this? I try to understand. So you go from lyric and then you get this tool to generate music for you, or you go
Mhm.
from the opposite direction, or you go simultaneously. You are both a composer, also a writer. What does it? How does it work?
Yeah.
What is the creative process like?
Yeah, you can actually do both at the same time simultaneously. But what I recommend is coming up with an idea of what you want to write about. And if you don't have an idea, like I said, it can auto generate for you. So if you do have this auto generation on, you can see the lyrics that they give you. And then from the lyrics, you can say, okay, I think with those lyrics, this would go well with this genre. And so then you can start to create the song based on the lyrics and see it. Otherwise, if you have the lyrics first and you know the type of song, if it wants to be, if you want to have a love song or you want to have a hip hop song, then you're basing and starting your writing based on how you want that song to
Mm,
eventually work. So, for
mhm,
instance, my students will come up with an idea and then they'll write it out and then put it into Suno, and then they will take the music from there and start to generate it and see which ones work well with the lyrics. And so, for instance, one of my students talked about um, a neural dream, and here, I'll play that for you real quick.
Zeros and ones flickering bright, like glimpse shadows in the neon light. The hum of circuits sings my name, but am I more than this coded flame? If I can dream, then what is real? Am I cold or something I can feel? A spark ignites beyond the stream, caught inside this neural dream.
So obviously he wanted to have something about neural networks within his piece, and so he generated the lyrics, and then wanted it to be very flowy, and yeah, it worked really well, and he was really happy with how it turned out.
So
And like,
how many tries do you think that your student might have made in order
yes,
to get music like this? So it's
yeah,
definitely not something that you just put in the keyword and get it and you're done. It's actually a continuous, iterative creative process, right? Can you
oh,
break it down for us? How the creative process behind this?
yeah, so one of my students was actually really frustrated with the whole process because he knew what he wanted the sound to be, but he couldn't quite get the sound exactly how he wanted. He wrote down all the lyrics himself, so he didn't have ChatGPT do anything, and he knew exactly the type of song that wanted to be created. And so with that, he kept trying over and over and over again to generate these different types of tones and these different types of beats and these different the speed and the key. And so he worked really really hard, and he still didn't get it to where he wanted it to be. But exactly what you said, the iterative
Mhm,
process is just something that takes a lot of time. And
mhm,
like we've said in the past, is you're not going to get something on your first try that you're really excited about. I mean, you may, but for most people, you're going to have to work and work and work and practice, and even your
mhm,
prompting skills. It's nice that these applications suggest and give you auto-populated prompts, so you can start to generate some ideas and brainstorming. And then also just, in terms of when these students are making this music, I also ask them, how do you feel with this song? Do you feel like it's yours? You created this? And a lot of them said, no, I don't feel like it's mine. I feel that it's AI generated, and I don't really feel that this is something that I really, really made. And even though they are making it and they are creating the
mhm.
lyrics, they felt like they didn't have a true personal connection to it. So it's interesting to hear.
The musical part of this, right?
Yeah, the
So
musical.
I do see a point of having AI to help you write music if you are just not musically inclined or talented, but you are
Right,
the fantastic writer. For
right.
instance, even if you have a roommate, imagine you have a roommate or you have your friend who's musician, but
Mhm.
then you would not bother your musician friend to keep coming up with music for your word, but you could
Right,
get AI to keep suggesting different music for your what you write. But maybe eventually you get a musician friend to bring it to the finalized
yes, exactly.
version of it. So if that is the use case, I do see that the maybe musician is not as threatened. But if the goal is to just quickly get the music for your game or something, that is probably not the use case that we would like to support.
Right, exactly. Yep. And those are really good points that you made too. So, yeah. And then the last tool that we use was Udio. So Udio, and this is very similar to Suno. And it's a little bit more, I would say, complicated than Suno. I wouldn't say it's super complicated, but it just has different variations. But the nice thing with this, it has a similar user interface, and it has a lot more options that you can choose from. And then you can also, just like Suno, you can add a playlist, and then you have a library of all the songs that you've created. You can use different style references, and then it will give you, once you've created this with your lyrics, uh, like I said, you can do strictly just instrumental if you don't want to use lyrics. You can customize it, or you can have it auto generated as well. But this is another application that I would recommend. And this is rather new. I know there's a lot of music generators out there right now. And so I think the top two right now that people recommend are Suno and Udio. which I think are both fantastic. And like I said, Soundful, the very first one, was also great. And so I can play one more song from this and then. So that one's a little bit more upbeat. And but when I listened to that, I was like, wow, I really would like that on my playlist. So all the songs that I played, if I didn't mention before, are all created by my students in class. And then we then would talk about the different ideas behind their generations. And a lot of them would actually look up artists and some of their favorite artists that they liked and grab inspiration from them and then try to recreate some of their music, their styles based on that. So, and I think,
so yeah, it reminds me of last summer. I actually studied to learn how to run. I'm growing up. I'm never a runner, and I was motivated by my friend who wasn't a runner before when I met him, but all of a sudden, few years afterward, he told me he did a triathlon. I said, wow, how did you train for that? If he could do that, maybe I should at least start running. And one thing that I didn't know I have to learn is to pick the right music to listen to. So I remember sometimes the music's too slow or too fast. I listened to jazz. I tried jazz one time. Didn't work, too slow. And I tried something else. What is this called? I tried some rock and roll music. It's too fast. So do you listen to music? Larissa, you're a runner. So do you also listen to music? Do you have a favorite music you listen to?
I do, and my go-to music is the Red Hot Chili Peppers, if anyone knows them.
Does it
And,
work well? Do you have a running music that you listen to and study music you listen to that different?
yeah. Oh, yeah. Completely different. Yeah. I need some hype up music when I'm running and working out. There's different playlists that you can create, and now with these different generators, you can make your own. And that's a nice thing that you can have is you can actually have your own playlists. And then especially with studying, I don't want something that is, the last song that I played, I would run to that. That's not something that I want to listen to when I'm studying. So I want something that's a little bit more low key and relaxed, kind of like the second song that we were listening to. But that's a great question.
How fast is the generation now? Is it possible the generation can be real time?
Yeah, it's extremely fast. The fastest I believe is Suno right now, and it depends on how long the song is, but I think it's under 4 minutes for generation.
4 minutes?
It may have already succeeded that, but that's what it is right now.
I wonder, is it possible that as near future that there is a real time music generation that it adapt to your pace, that you, and as you started to warm up, then you increase the rhythm, and if you're tired and they play some soothing music, and when you're about to reach the destination, you study to kind of build up the drama and intensity of the music. I think it'd be pretty cool, isn't it?
That is a great idea, Tom. I think you need to actually patent that idea. That's
really?
that's for
an idea
you
for
have it out there. Yeah.
Audience, you're listening to this, you can pitch a startup on this idea that I give it away. We give freely away.
Yeah, that's an amazing idea. Well, and I have a couple questions for you because we discussed this and we have a couple minutes left. But just human versus AI in terms of music generation. And so and this is what I do ask my students. And so what I would like to know is your opinion on this. What do you think about, music being generated by AI versus human? And how do you feel when you're listening to a song knowing it's generated by AI?
So probably before I talk to you today, I probably will be. I don't value as much.
Mm-hmm.
And when the music is generated by AI,
Mm-hmm.
but I realized that this music just didn't get generated by AI out of vacuum. If there was a human involved who control the AI, who gave prompt to the AI to generate that music, if the person, I might be able to connect with that person behind the AI generated music. But if there's a better mechanism to share the behind the scenes story for every piece of AI generated music, like how much effort this person have tried to put into their AI generated music. But currently, there isn't an easy way unless I get to talk to you to hear the story from your students that make me appreciate. I can connect to the student behind the AI music, even though I cannot connect to the music.
Yeah.
So being able to connect to the human behind the AI generated artifact, I probably would be something we should look into more. How can we to get behind the AI generated art, music, and article,
Mm-hmm.
and so on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I would love to know anyone else's opinions and thoughts on that. If you want to put that in the chat, that would be great. And I can repost the question in there as well, and how you feel with music, AI generated versus human, and what we talked about today. That would be great. And other than that, I
And
think
you
that
did talk about the newsletter. So you've been sending out extra information. For instance, the tool you talked about, some
yep,
tips to learn those tools. You can talk
yep.
about it. Oh, also talk about a logo. We have a new logo now, but not this one.
Yeah, each week we're trying out different logos and seeing which one we like the best. And so you'll probably see different variations of our logo. But yes, I will be sending out a newsletter each week based on the podcast that we talked about. And then I give more detailed descriptions on how the different applications work and what I suggest, links to how to get to the applications. And then if there's any other questions, you can obviously write those in the comments. But yes, please subscribe to the newsletter because I go in depth with these different applications. And then if there's any other suggestions that you may have, just put that in the chat if you have gone through the other newsletters, and I would love to hear those. So looking forward
I want to say I really enjoyed the latest issue, and you did a
thank you.
great job and to stick to make use of the running metaphor. And I like you have a photo of 4 people carrying a laptop running on the AI race, and it probably took a while for you to figure out how to prompt the model. But then also enjoy seeing your actual running pictures. So you're running with a friend of yours, and you
Yeah.
share that photo. Do you want to talk about that photo a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. The last newsletter that I put out, and if you haven't read them by now, the breakdown of the newsletter is based on how to start. So exactly what Tom said, metaphorically running a race as we're running an AI race right now, and we're trying not to fall behind. So we're talking about the different form. We're talking about a training plan, and this is all in relation to AI. We're talking about racing communities, and then we're talking about finishing, how you feel, and then and so each step will go over the different AI tools and how we can improve in also terms of running. And what Tom was referring to is a picture at the end where I'm running. I'm actually guiding an athlete who is blind, and she is a friend of mine. And so I'm able to volunteer my time in our community and guide blind and visually impaired and also disabled athletes on trails. And so that's her and I running a race together, and we are tethered at the wrist, and she is very competitive. I was absolutely exhausted at the end of that race, and she is quite the competitor. So I had to stay up, but I will start to share more personal stories about some of my running journeys. But it's very exciting for me and personal, and just like this newsletter, I try and put my heart into this. So hopefully you can read this and gain some new knowledge, and hopefully use this in the future.
All right. So I think we are up at the time. We started late, so we'll end late. So do you want to say some final word before we end this episode? And what do we want to talk about next episode? Have we decided? Have you decided?
Yeah, so next episode, we're going to be talking about video generation, which is obviously taking the creative industry by storm right now. As I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I was just judging an AI video competition, and that was pretty amazing. And so I was very thankful for that opportunity. So seeing what people are generating out there using AI within videos is amazing. And so we are going to be talking about that next episode.
Hopefully, you can share some examples.
Some examples?
Next week. Next
yes.
time. We
Yes.
get together.
Yes, I will show more examples next time about video generation, and hopefully you all can tune in then. And thank you so much for coming today. Really appreciated having you all. And anything else that you want to share, Tom?
Until next time, we'll hope to see you again.
Yep.
Okay.
And
Bye-bye.
keep up with the AI race.
Yes, let's keep up.
Okay. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.